Hello, this is Vanessa from the Pudgy Rabbit, and today I'm going to be going over some tips for reading crochet patterns. So once you've learned some crochet basics, here are some standard US abbreviations for terms you might see in your first crochet pattern. Here we have some common crochet stitches such as single crochet or making a chain, and here are terms for actions you would take with those stitches such as increasing or decreasing. If you have a group of stitches that need to be repeated throughout the round, you'll often find these placed in between a set of asterisks or parentheses or a set of brackets. When you're first starting out, it can be helpful to have these terms on hand as you're working through a pattern, so I'll have a link in the description below where you can download and print out your own copy. So while there is set standards for crochet terms that you see in a pattern, each designer will have their own way of writing out instructions depending on their personal writing style. So here are a few examples of how the same pattern might be written out in different ways. So in example number 1, we have single crochet 1, increase 1, repeat this 12 times for 36 stitches at the end of the round. Now when we make an increase, this means we make 2 or more stitches into the same stitch, but this doesn't tell us what kind of stitch to make for the increase. But since the previous stitch is a single crochet, we can make the assumption that this is going to be a single crochet increase. Another way you might see this written out is in example number 2. We have single crochet 1, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, repeat 12 times for 36 stitches at the end. Now in this example, it tells us exactly how many stitches to make in the next stitch and what kind of stitch to make. But these are 2 ways that you might see an increase being written out for a pattern. So in example number 3, we have single crochet 1, decrease 1, repeat this 6 times for 12 stitches at the end. Similar to example number 1, this doesn't tell us what kind of decrease to make, but since the previous stitch is a single crochet, we can assume that this is going to be a single crochet decrease. Another way to write this out is in example 4, we have single crochet 1, single crochet 2 together, repeat 6 times for 12 stitches at the end. When you see a stitch followed by 2 together, this is just another way to write out a decrease. Before starting any new pattern, I always recommend reviewing the abbreviations that a designer may have included at the beginning. This is because if they use terms like an increase or decrease, they can clarify what kind of increase or decrease to make, and this will just help you move more smoothly throughout the pattern. So let's practice reading through a pattern together by doing the first few rounds of this bumblebee body. So here I've made my slip knot out of yellow yarn and I put it on my hook and I'm ready to start round 1. So for round 1, we're going to chain 2, make 6 single crochets in second chain from the hook, and we'll have 6 stitches at the end. So I've made my 2 chains and now I'm inserting my hook into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through to bring up a loop, and yarn over and pull through again, and there I've made my first single crochet stitch. I'm going to insert my hook back into that same second chain space to make the second single crochet stitch, like so, and I'm going to repeat this all the way around until I have 6 stitches. So I just finished the 6th stitch, and there I have round 1. So here I'm using a stitch marker to stretch out the first stitch from round 1. I also use a yarn needle to do this, and usually my stitches from round 1 are a little bit tight, so before I start round 2, I just do this to make it easier for me to insert the hook. So for round 2, we're going to single crochet 2 stitches into each stitch. So I've just made the first single crochet stitch for round 2, insert my hook back in to make the second single crochet. And once I've made the second single crochet stitch, I'm going to grab my stitch marker, which is usually just a safety pin, and I'm going to count back 2 stitches, 1, 2. That's the first stitch for round 2. And just place my stitch marker so I know where the round begins. And I'm going to just continue making 2 single crochet stitches all the way around. So here I'm completing the last single crochet for round 2, and I'm ready for round 3. So remove the stitch marker, and so for round 3 we're going to single crochet 1, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, repeat 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. So I've made the first single crochet. For the round, I'm going to place my stitch marker back on, and now I'm going to make 2 single crochets into that next stitch. There's one, and there's the second stitch. So here I've completed my first group of single crochet 1, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and I'm just going to repeat this group all the way around. And there's the last stitch, and here is round 3. So for round 4, we're going to single crochet in each stitch for a total of 18 stitches. And here I'm just counting my stitches from the end of round 3 to make sure that I'm starting off with the correct stitch count. And generally I do this whenever I have a round of just straight stitches, and this just helps me catch any mistakes that I may have made with previous rounds. So here I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and I'm going to do my first single crochet stitch for round 4. Okay, so there's the first stitch. Place my stitch marker back in and just continue making single crochet stitches all the way around. So I just completed the last single crochet around, and there's round 4. So here are the first few rows compared to the completed bumblebee. As always, I hope you guys found this helpful in learning how to read patterns, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.